Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, calling CQ the Old Friends Net. This net meets 3 times weekly on this frequency, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at 8 a.m., Sunday afternoons at 4 p.m. The net is conducted in the Amplitude Modulation mode, carried out in the roundtable format. All stations that can generate an AM signal are certainly welcome to participate. So, those that would like to be a part of the Old Friends Net today, give me a call and come now.
N4LQ.
WB4.
Okay.
K4GDN.
WA4R.
WB4NKL.
W4KR.
KB4PSI. W4MEC.
KF4DRN. Okay, this is what I've heard thus far. N4LQ, WB4ARK, K4GDN, WA4EVK, KN4R, WB4NKL, W4KR, KB4PSI, W4MEC, KF4DRN. Who did I miss? All right, any other check-ins for the old friends? Come now. Okay, one more time down the list. N4LQ, WB4ARK, K4GDN, WA4EVK, KN4R, WB4NKL, W4KR, KB4PSI, W4MEC, and KF4DRN. Anyone else? Alrighty, good morning to everybody on this last day of winter 2026, and we're looking forward to 10:46 a.m. tomorrow when the vernal equinox occurs and we astronomically enter into spring. So, welcome spring is all I can say. This morning we've got mostly cloudy skies and about 40 degrees. So, let's get started down in Shelby. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, this is N4LQ. Well, good morning, everybody. It's 32 degrees here in Shelby. A little chilly, but going up to 65 today. Looks like supposed to be sunny, so looking forward to that. And yeah, let's see. I'm hoping to make it to Sevierville. I'm not sure yet. I do have the DX100B that I think I'm ready to let go of due to lack of anywhere to put it. But it is a nice transmitter. If anybody is interested, let me know. And yeah, let's see. That's about it for this morning so far. I'll turn it over to Buddy, WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. All right, well, very good copy on everybody this morning. Band is very quiet. Very quiet. And it is clear, 30 degrees, and no rain overnight. So, anyway, we expecting a nice day today. Probably going to go down and work at my son's shop for a bit today. And we've got the main ART-13 on the workbench for a slight modification. So we will we will send it on to K4GDN, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK in the old French, K4GDN. Good morning, everybody. Myrtle Beach, it's clear now. It was about 37 when I got up at 7:30. It's supposed to get up into the low 60s by this afternoon. And it's supposed to, we're not going to have any rain until I think the first part of next week. We're running the Drake 4B station this morning with the L4B tuned up for about 200 watts total. And on the next time around, I'm going to shift over and I'm going to try my ICOM IC706. I'll only be running about 30 watts carrier. I'll be going into the infed dipole just like I am now directly. And I'd like to get a comparison to see how that works. I guess in 2 weeks we'll have the luncheon, and I plan to be at that one in April. We're going to be up there again in Spartanburg looking at the properties, hopefully come up with something for a move. So with that, we'll turn it over to Moon, WA4EVK in the group, K4GDN.
K4GDN in the group, WA4EVK. Well, that's good to hear there, George. You're moving back up this area. Hope you can find some decent property around. Who knows anymore? It's just some places are great, some not, as usual. Not much else than that. I got here till the last minute. Haven't got organized yet. And I believe I need to go to KN4KR, WA4EVK.
Okay, Boone, WA4EVK in the group, KN4R, Brian, Cheryl's Ford, where it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day today. Looking forward to the sun and looking forward to no wind today. And but very good on Sevierville, and luncheon coming up in 2 weeks, and last day of winter. It all sounds exciting. So things are good here. Of course, I'm on the GRC9, and the dogs are getting bigger and more playful, and that life is good. So my wife's going to a stained glass making class this morning, so I'm going to have babysitting duties. And I haven't had my first cup of coffee yet, so hopefully the next time around I'll be a little more legible. So over to you, Cliff, WB4NKL in the group, KN4R.
KN4R, it's WB4NKL. Thanks, Brian. I got 34 degrees. Looks like it's warmed up a little bit, and it's supposed to be up in low 60s today. So looking forward to that. Been trying to get some stuff together to go to the Sevierville Ham Fest. I'm running an AF68 transmitter, about 40 watts into the antenna today, and a PMR8 receiver, 1070 power supply. I'm thinking about taking this outfit to Sevierville. And it's got a home-built antenna relay. Brian, I guess I'll see you next Friday, a week from tomorrow, at the Charlotte AWA. I kind of enjoy that one too, so plan on attending to that. And not too much else. Go ahead, Stan. W4KR, WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, W4KR. Good morning. Good morning, folks. Boy, George, you're really strong this morning. Band's just a little bit long, and that's good. Good signal. Dave, I hope this sounds like the Viking 500. Yeah, that 37 needs some work. But tomorrow morning I'm going to have the Ranger on there, and let it drive the 813 amplifier tomorrow morning. Got to move the 37 off the desk and put the Ranger on. I think that'll sound a little better. Anyway, I'm going to turn it on down to Tommy again, like before. KB4 PSI, W4KR.
Okay, Stan. W4KR in the group, KB4 PSI. Well, good morning to everybody. I've got 34 degrees here in Greenville, Tennessee. Same as Cliff there. Yeah, Dave, at 10:36 tomorrow, that can't come too early. Man, I'm looking forward to spring. And I guess if it's official, then it will be spring. So, even though it may get back down to 15 degrees, let's hope not. But everybody's sounding good here on the Old Friends net this morning, and hope to see everybody at Sevierville, and also Cliff, I plan to attend the antique meet there in Charlotte. So looking forward to that. Okay, I'll send it on around to W4MEC. Go ahead, sir. KB4PSI.
Very good, Tommy. Good morning, everybody. Everybody's sounding great here in Henderson County this morning. We already got 30 degrees and looks like clear skies today. It was looking a little iffy last night, but they didn't say it was going to rain, so good for us. Anyway, everybody's got great signals. Tommy, I was wondering, I looked you up on QTH here, and I saw that Apache and Mohawk. I wonder if you still use those, and like the speaker. I never have found that speaker. That's the one that goes with it. So I've been using a speaker my uncle gave me. I don't know how long it's been, 30 years ago. A little 8-inch round one in a leatherette box with a handle on top, and I think it was designed to go with maybe a portable PA system or something like that. I mean, it's commercially made and got little rubber feet on the bottom, and it's sloping front, and it's about 4 inches at the bottom and 3 inches at the top, and it's worked like a champ ever since. So I wouldn't mind finding that speaker just to finish the set there. I got the SP10 sideband adapter. It all works, but it's not plugged in right now. And anyway, house projects is coming along. I got the last floor put in yesterday in the bathroom, and then I could finish the outlet, the water pipe for the toilet, which I broke when I was taking the floor up. So I figured, I think I'll just wait here until I get the floor back down. So it's ready to go. I just need to seal the edges there, and then we can go on from there. It's interesting, I don't have a water heater yet, so I'm going to turn the water on today and see what leaks. So I need to come up with a way to hook the cold water to the hot. I think I'm going to get a couple adapters for half-inch pipe to hose output, and use a washing machine hose to hook them together and send the power and charge the hot water line and see what leaks over there. It's interesting, the previous whoever it was totally turned off any gas appliance in 2022 and capped any line. They disconnected them, capped the lines, turned the valves off. And they did not use the gas propane at all. And I checked it all out, and I got the gas contract restored, and they filled the tank, and came out and leak checked everything, and the only thing I'm using on is a heater. But while they had a gas water heater, so they disconnected that, and they bought one of these instant on water heaters, but they got one that you normally put under a sink or something. It wasn't meant to be a whole house heater, but they wired it up as a whole house heater. So I found the box and the instructions, and here's the interesting part. It uses 13 kilowatts. I think it takes a 60 amp breaker. It might be 17 kilowatts. I'm telling you, it's somewhere up there, but it takes a 60 amp breaker for this little thing that's about a foot long and 10 inches wide. And the interesting thing is the bigger units that they have, they show you how to wire 3 60 amp breakers in parallel and run a god-awful size power cord into this thing to give this darn thing 180 amps. And I'm going, good grief, I think I would have gone with a standard water heater myself with a 2,500 watt element. So I don't care if it is instant on. You got something that's going to draw 80 amps from your power panel, that ought to dim the lights a little bit. So, so anyway, let's see. Over to Tommy. No, I'm not going to Tommy. I'm going to Greg. KF4DRN in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC, KF4DRN. Well, Charlie, sound like that water heater ain't going to be too efficient. And Cliff, rig sounds good. That Mac, good clear audio and everything. And I meant to comment on that on the last net there, but anyway, I can't think of what I need to say a lot of times. But looking forward to going over there to Sevierville, and I guess be looking for some little odds and ends, parts and whatnot, and may pick up a ferrite ring, you know, and so I can make up a Unin or Ballon, whatever, and experiment with that a little bit. And still working on a little antenna changeover relay, mounted it in a box, and going to try to make it look a little bit neater. But like a little bit, just 3 more parts to make it complete. But anyway, it's a little project in the works, I guess. But anyway, yeah, it's always fun going to a ham fest, and never know what a man might run into there. I'll pass it back to the top. Here comes Dave, WA4LLR, KF4DRN.
All right, Greg, fine business, KF4DRN, WA4LLR. All right, let me stand by. Do we have any other check-ins for the old friends? Come now.
KZ4 Bravo.
All righty, KZ4B. Good morning, John. Anyone else? All right, John, come on in and tell us what's going on in your part of the world. KZ4B, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR and the group KZ4B just trying to stay warm. It's hard to shake winter time, to say the very least. She didn't want to let go. And the grass in the front yard already needs a bush hog, but it's been too cold to get out there and try to cut it. So it's going to be interesting when I do get out there. I may have to go over it 4 or 5 times to get the grass cut. Who knows? But conditions seem to be pretty good today. The band is obviously long, because George is booming in here, and all the distant stations are coming in quite well. So won't belabor it. I'm using the usual night T50, driving the AL82, and as usual, I was trying to oversleep the schedule, but managed to tear myself out of the bed. So back to you, Dave. WA4LLR and the group KZ4B, over.
All right, John, fine business. The T150 sounds good. One more standby. Any other check-ins? Come down. All right, guess that's got us. Well, let's see. Cold weather and high grass. Well, it'll work out. I think it's supposed to warm up today and tomorrow and the end of the weekend, so hopefully it'll get to be grass cutting weather. Let's see, Greg, good deal on experimenting. It's always fun. And yeah, you never know what you're going to turn up at a ham fest. I think that's part of the fun of it. Charlie, glad you got the last floor down. And good luck on checking for water leaks. And yeah, we were doing some remodeling in the Fellowship Hall at church, and we looked like exceedingly briefly at an electric on demand, and looked at the power requirements and said, "You got to be kidding." So we went with the propane on demand, and it's been a good choice. Tommy, good deal on. I think you and Cliff both go to the antique meet in Charlotte tomorrow, is it? Yeah, I think it's tomorrow evening. And then have to hightail it back to Sevierville. That's you guys are going to be moving. Stan, I thought the audio on the HT 47 was pretty good until I started listening to your 500 here a minute ago, and yeah. There's not a lot of comparison there. Looking forward to hearing the Ranger tomorrow. Cliff, the little AF-68 sounds good. And Brian, I bet those puppies are getting playful. Good deal on the stained glass class. Say that real quick. That your wife's heading out to. Good morning to you, Boone. Good signal up this way. And George, the great Drake Station is doing well. Looking forward to seeing you at the next luncheon, Lord willing. And buddy, you're going to head down and do some work at your son's shop. Steve, the DX100B for sale. I've always liked a DX100, but I'm at the point where I just can't maneuver them. Man, those things are heavy, but they're a great old radio. Well, let's see what's going on. Space weather, they're saying we may get a CME impact today and another one in a day or so. A couple of them heading this way. But at present, the conditions are really mild. Sunspot number's 83, solar flux 113, and the K-index is only 0.67. So, calm. A few items from this day in history. On this day in 2003, the war in Iraq began. On this day in 1955, Bruce Willis was born. He's one of my favorite actors. On this day in 1848, Wyatt Earp was born. On this day in 1916, the first U.S. air combat mission began. 8 Curtiss Jennies took off from Columbus, New Mexico on a air combat mission in support of our 7,000 troops trying to capture Pancho Villa in Mexico. On this day in 1931, Nevada legalized gambling. On this day in 1953, the first Academy Awards were presented. And here's one everybody wanted to know. On this day in 1957, Elvis Presley put down the down payment on Graceland. Okay, and let's see, anything else? Nope, that's about it from this day in history. I will tell you one adventure we had here a couple of days ago. My wife and a friend of hers flew down to Fort Lauderdale for a short cruise last week. They left out of here on what day was it? Thursday morning. Flew out of Asheville down to Fort Lauderdale and took a little 3 or 4 day cruise. I don't remember. They went to Key West and then on over to Bimini and came back, did some airboat and Everglades and on and on. And Monday they were to fly back from Fort Lauderdale back to Asheville. Well, of course, you know, the storm came in, so their flight was delayed. This was Monday afternoon. They were supposed to fly out at 4 o'clock. Pushed it back to 6. They pushed it back to 8. They pushed it back to 10. They canceled it. So they flew Allegiant. And Allegiant only flies from Fort Lauderdale back to Asheville. And the next one would have been on Thursday. So they're trying to get another flight from some other airline. Nobody's flying because the storm's so bad up and down the East Coast. And they both needed to get back from work and family. And finally, in desperation, my daughter decides to rent a car to drive from Fort Lauderdale to Charlotte. They couldn't find any of the companies that would rent a one-way. And she finally found one. I can't remember the name of this outfit. $1,800 to rent a car on a one-way from Lauderdale to Charlotte. But I mean, all the stuff they went through and the thing they got into it made a tremendous stand-up comedy. But man, if we finally, let's see, and she got in Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon. But anyway, on Tuesday, my wife and I had two of our granddaughters because of the snow and because of one's mama being in Florida stranded. The other's dad had to take his other daughter to Boone for an orthodontist appointment. So we had to figure out what to do with those, because Irvine and I had two appointments at the eye doctor in Morganton at 10 o'clock that morning. She had to have some laser surgery, and I just get a pre-op for cataract. So we had to shuffle them around. We had to make it through the snow down to Morganton, get that done, and then my son was going to pick my daughter up as she drove in. Well, he couldn't, so we had to drive down. Both of us had our eyes dilated, and we couldn't half see. But man, what a day. Anyway, we survived, and I'm thanking God for his mercy. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Oh, boy, what a transmission. WA4LLR, N4LQ, my little hour. I kept looking around for my hourglass here, and I finally found it. And anyway, let's see here. This Wyatt Earp reminds me that that guy died in 1929 at the age of 80. You can imagine that. Died in Los Angeles. And I've read a lot about him over the years, but he actually had a car, and his favorite pastime was going to the movies. And you just don't think about Wyatt Earp doing that kind of stuff, but he was, old enough that he lived in somewhat modern times when, radio, not TV, but radio was around, and movies and so forth. Anyway, anxious to hear George's experiment, and one of our little dogs, Taffy, Brian knows who that is, came in limping the other day, and a severe limp. I mean, like right leg and like front leg and rear leg, and acted like her paw was hurting and just barely getting around. And we had some pain pills that years ago this same thing had happened. So Linda wrapped it in peanut butter and gave her a pill. And within 30 minutes, she was up and around, went down the stairs to the backyard, running back and forth, having a good time. And I can't believe that pill worked that quick. And we're wondering if it wasn't just a trick to get us to give her the peanut butter. I don't know, but she's pretty smart. Well, let's see, Cliff, your for sale AF68 sounds fine to me. So hope somebody can take it and put it to use. And there's still a lot of them on the air, For a while there, they were the thing to have, but they're still a fine piece of equipment. And let's see, I was wondering about Greg and looking for a toroid, a ferrite toroid, I believe, making an undulate of some sort. I just wondered what you're going to do with it and what your plan is, and I might be able to help you. I've got a pile of them here. It's just a matter of knowing what mix that you that you need, and what you're going to build, and maybe I can help out, and maybe we'll meet together at the Sevierville Hamfest. I'd like to meet some of you guys I've never met, so that would be fun. Anyway, over to Buddy, WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. Yes, let's see. Looks like we've got a lot of construction going on, or a fair amount of construction going on, with folks in the net right now. Brian, I wonder if you got your goodies from the auction. I saw you had your email about getting your packages. I presume everything came in good shape. Let's see. The work at Duncan's shop is painting this new electric engine that we built, and he's got all of a sudden got a large order, and he needs to be working on that, so I'm going down and give him a hand with cleaning the metal surface so that we can get it ready to be primed. So with that, I guess we'll turn it back over to George, K4GDN, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK in the old fridge, K4GDN, and I'm on the ICOM IC706. This is a Mark IIG. Looks like carrier's running in the high 20s, and I'm peaking up a little bit over 30 on the modulation peaks. Receiving everybody pretty well. Greg was a little bit weak. I think his call was KF4BRN. I'm not sure about that one. And KB4PSI, can hear him all right. And Dave, it really sounds like you had quite a workout there with all the people in the flights. I had a grandson who was out in Utah last week with a trip with his school, but they got delayed once, but they made it back in within, I think no more than a few hours of when they were supposed to be back here in the Myrtle Beach. So that's not too bad. This ICOM 706, I've had this thing for, I guess, close to 25 years now. It was a mobile rig to begin with, of course. That was what I bought it for. But it's just awful hard to get mobile rigs into some of the new cars with all the electronics and the things they do, what they monitor and everything, so I haven't been able to do it. Anyway, looking forward to being at the lunch in April, and Charlie, you can bring the tubes with you then. I'll pick them up from you. The other things I'm looking for, I'd like to get a 6SL7. I'm looking to build this modulator that uses a 6SL7 and a 6Y6. Also, I'd like to get a couple of tube sockets. I need some octals, a couple of 7-pins, and a couple of 9-pin miniatures. It's just running out of parts down here, and it's really hard to get a hold of anything here in Myrtle Beach. It's just not much activity with the old equipment. Anyway, be interested to see what the 706 sounds like. I'll be listening on it. I'll probably shift back over to the Drake if anybody's having a whole lot of problems. So with that, Boone, it's coming to you. WA4 EVK in the group, K4GDN.
K4GDN in the group, WA4EVK. Well, Dave, all I can say is with a day like that going, I'm going to have to tell you like a company rep on a drilling rig told me one time when I reported in with my crew. He wanted me to get out there with my crew, and boy, I thought I had a chewing out coming for something. Get out there with my crew and turn that rig upside down looking for that black cat that had been dogging their heels. I'm not superstitious, but boy, by that time that chain of events got through halfway unfolded, I would have been really leery of doing much. Sounds like one each of some pretty crazy things happened to y'all. And Charlie, my niece called me one day and wanted me to look at an estimate she had for remodeling her, I guess you called them beauty shops then, whatever, spas, whatever they call them, because the electrical part of it looked awful large and out of character. So I went down and looked, and the builder had specified one of those Insta-Hots or electric tankless water heaters, and I could not believe the current draw like you're talking about. They wanted to put in an entire new breaker box, the whole bit. I put it, long story short, about 2 weeks later, after having the propane tank installed and so forth, she had a really good source of hot water for that place and was happy with it. I can't imagine having one of those things in 100 and some amps draw. You're right. The whole neighborhood's lights would dim in a lot of places. Not much other than that here. I'm still on my cup of coffee and first cup of coffee, and it's I'm slowly waking up. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian. KN4R, WA4EVK.
Okay, Boone, very good. WA4EVK in the group. KN4R returning. Wonderful. Great copy on all. And George, 706 sounded fine here. You're not as strong as you are on the Drake rig, which I assume had an amp too, but solid copy here, so no problem at all. So the rig's certainly working. And Dave, great story, and also thanks for the this day in history stuff, the 2003 war in Iraq starting today. I'm actually, we've got a military history senior group here, and we've got a speaker coming in. He was with the first unit of the 82nd Airborne to go in for Desert Shield and Desert Storm. So he's going to talk about that today, so that'll be good. And very interesting on Pancho Villa and the first aviation sortie. I'm going to look that up and mention it this morning as well. And yeah, traveling right now is not a good thing, but hopefully it'll shake itself out. So Steve, glad Kathy is running around stoned and happy. So and Buddy, good luck on the stuff you're doing down at your son's, and also on the adding the crystal oscillator to your ART-13 from the auction. And I did receive a few things from auction number 4, but it wasn't. At the end, I just stopped bidding on the few things that I really wanted. I just got some odds and ends. But yeah, they arrived, and supposedly there's going to be another auction number 5, but they don't know when. So I'll let everybody know. And the fella who has that estate, Bob Graham, W5RXN, actually called me, and we talked for about an hour. He's a very, very interesting guy, so still with us. So, and let's see, the Charlotte AWA meet is next Friday, so it's next week. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Presentations on Thursday. Friday's the big day. 8 a.m. flea market. So it kind of goes all day, and then Friday evening at 7 p.m. they have an auction, but mid-afternoon you can go into the auction staging room and see what all's going to be in the auction, so you can figure out whether or not you want to stay or not. But it's going to be it's our 50th, and looks like participation is going to be really good. And also down the hall, there's also some vintage phonograph guys there. And also this year, for the first time in about 10 years, the crypto analysis guys, not the dollar crypto, but the Enigma guys are going to be back, about 15 of them, most from overseas, going to be talking about enigmas and all that in a different room on Friday and Saturday at the same hotel. So it's going to be quite an event. I hope everybody can come down, and hope to see everybody on Friday. And sorry I'm not going to make it to Sevierville, but just too much stuff going on. And thanks also for the tip on propane on demand. I might look in that when the time is right, since I have propane here already at the house. So I'm going to say 73's got to get down and free up my wife so she can get ready to go to stained glass. And but great to talk to everybody. Look forward to doing it again soon. So Cliff, good luck. If I had a place to put it, I would certainly try to talk you out of the 68 and the PMR8. But I'm full up. So, and same thing on the TX100B, Steve. So WB4NKL in the group. KN4R 73s.
You know, KN4R, it's WB4NKL. Okay, Brian. Yeah, these mobile rigs are, you know, they're not backbreakers. That's a good thing about them. And I always enjoy operating them. I've got another set here. It's the only reason I'm going to sell this one. I don't need two sets of them for sure. Dave, that was pretty bad story there on the trip back from Florida. A few years, I could call a few years back for $1,800, I would have driven down there and picked them up. But I'm not into driving that much anymore. But like I say, a few years back, that would have happened. Brian's right. The antique meet's a week from tomorrow. I was spreading some bad information there earlier on. I was thinking it was the same week as Sevierville, but I got corrected on that. And I think it maybe is a week later than normal. It seems like in the years past it's been on the spring weekend. So I guess that's what had me confused. Go ahead, Brian, W4KR or WB4NKL.
All right there, Mr. Who are you? Mr. Elmack, good morning, W4KR here. Dave, my goodness. You know, Dave, remember I asked you where they were flying into, and I assumed they were flying on Allegiant. And they were going to be back about 6, and I looked at the Allegiant schedule into Asheville, and I said, "Oops! I wonder where they're really going." Well, I would have never seen their airplane. Anyway, oh my gosh! But I'm glad you and your bride got home okay. Yeah. Well, during the transmissions here, I turned the audio gain up a little bit on the 75A4, and with struggle got the HT37 off the desk and got the Ranger on the desk. So now I'm sitting here rummaging through little bags full of jumper connections to get the right combination for the change, because the 37 had a 9-pin octal and does not provide 120 volts. The Ranger does provide 120 volts for whatever outboard relay you use, but no other relay contacts within the transmitter. So we'll find a combination that works here and get on with it. Anyway, I'm going to sign with this one. I'll listen around, but I'm gonna sign with this one. So Tommy, ready or not? Here it comes. WB. No, that's not your call. I keep wanting to do that, Tommy. KB4PSI, W4KR.
Okay, Stan. W4KR in the group, KB4PSI. Well, good morning to you, Stan, and hope you have a good day, and look forward to seeing you at Sevierville. I'm going to try to make that. And Dave, I saw some of that on the news, the airline people. My goodness, what a mess. Stranded at the airports, and that was a big deal there. I'm glad your daughter and wife got back okay. Had to be something to be stranded off from home like that and can't get nowhere. Anyway, okay. I'm going to make this my last one. It's good to check in with you guys here this morning. Hope to see some of you at the Hamfest or at the Antique Radio meet in Charlotte next weekend. So, anyway, Charlie, here it comes, and good to talk to you here this morning. W4MEC, KB4PSI.
Oh,
Okay, Tommy KV4PSI and the group W4MEC. I wonder if people struggling with the airlines thought about the bus or the train. I know you'd have to get, I think, to Orlando to get the Amtrak. It doesn't go down the East Coast. The Florida East Coast abandoned that. They were one of the railroads that did not sign off on accepting Amtrak. In, 71, they had their own passenger service, but then when that happened, they dropped it completely. But I think the Bright Line runs through there, and you can take it to Orlando and then get the Amtrak and come back. The interesting thing about Amtrak, and they do it in the Northeast Corridor all the time, is as the ridership changes, they either take away or add more cars. So just be a matter of if a lot of people decided to take the Amtrak, they just add more cars. And but you know, the limited way it goes, it's probably as bad as the way the airlines are. You know, it might get you close, but it won't get you close enough. So amazingly, there was a way, you know, you could take the Amtrak from Charlotte or Asheville, and well, prior to Amtrak, you could take a passenger train out of Asheville and go direct to Chicago. You could go down to Florida, you go all over the place, but not now. So, but it was an option, and I'm not even sure if I can't remember the last time I saw a Greyhound bus on the interstate. Are they still in business? Trailways or Greyhound? Can you still catch a bus? And I've seen those big, they have those private, well, they're not, it's a company, but it is a bus that goes from like Atlanta to Chicago. And I don't think it stops anywhere in between. Maybe a big city, or maybe it goes to Knoxville or someplace like that. But it's not a nationwide system. It's just a bus line that goes from one point to another, and they're usually fairly colorful-looking buses. They're not, you know, like a Trailways or a Greyhound. They paint them all different colors. But I've seen those, but I can't remember the last time I saw a Greyhound or a Trailways bus on the highway. At least a Greyhound. I thought they were still in business, but has anybody else seen them on the highway? So anyway, maybe they all run at night. But we used to have a bus station here right in downtown Hendersonville, and it was they had a daily bus come through, and they arrived here kind of even the evening time, but they had an official station in a building with a guy inside taking tickets and a waiting room and everything. But I think it turned into a vegetable market. So I'll hang on here to the end. Let's see, KF4DRN in the group W4MEC.
Now W4MEC, KF4DRN. Yeah, everybody's sounding good. Had a little trouble here in the station over there at Myrtle Beach. It was the weakest, but everybody else coming through real good. I'm on the Globe Scout 65 and using D104 amplified mic and resonant dipole antenna right here. I mean, SWR is flat. And using the OBFO, the B10. That's the station set up and listening on the R388 Collins. And anyway, Steve, about the Toroid T130-2, I guess, is what I probably would be looking for. And that way I can use it as a Ballon or a Union. Just want to experiment around a little bit with the antenna and so forth. And I just use a random wire antenna. I've been experimenting a little bit with the antenna over next door, so anyway, I might try a Ballon on it or a Union, and just depend on how I hook it up. But experiment for a little bit later on, I guess. I guess I'll make this my last one, but I'll listen around for a little bit here. I got to get started and see what I can get done today. Probably have to go get me some propane after a while. K4GDN, I think, is next. Correct me if I'm wrong. KF4DRN.
KB4DRN in the group KZ4B. I think it's me there. Anyway, have I got it?
Roger. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, very good. We are not going to be able to make it to Sevierville. The buddy I usually go with, Mike Cumbo, ND4S, is going to the Sebring race, and it's too far for me to go solo. I like to make long trips alone, just because it's not very entertaining, to say the least. I have a question for anybody that's left. I'm trying to track down Carl Whitaker, W4RCW's telephone number, and he's not on the list, so I assume he doesn't want somebody to put it out over the air. So if somebody has his number, call me at 704-658-7153. I repeat, 704-658-7153. After the schedule, I don't have my phone with me, so give me about 5 minutes and I will have it. So, speaking of sagas going and coming from Florida, the same gentleman, Mike Cumbo, bought a Dutton, which is a British kit car that was kind of like a Lotus Super 7. Not quite as well known or fancy, but it was a knockoff based on the Lotus Super 7. And it came in Fort Lauderdale, and we, Mike and I and another gentleman, went down there, drove down there to pick the car up. Well, when we got it, it was about this time of year, and there was a super severe cold snap, kind of like the weather we're having now. And only it was about the worst one imaginable. The car had no heater and was thrown together by an idiot. I mean, it had more unreliability than anything you can ever imagine. And we struggled driving that thing back home, taking turns, because it didn't have side curtains. It was a convertible with no top, no side curtains, and freezing cold, like riding a motorcycle, only we were in shirt sleeves. We did not have coats or anything. We were totally unprepared. We thought, hey, we're going to Florida, what do we need? You know, winter weather-wise. But that was one of the biggest nightmares. I don't like to be cold. And it's a wonder one of us didn't die from pneumonia. Back today, WA4LLR in the group KZ4B. Over.
All right, John. Oh, man. That would be miserable. Oh, mercy. Shirt sleeves, convertible, freezing cold. Mercy. I'm like you. I hate cold. Well, let's see. Brian checked out, Stan checked out, Tommy checked out, and Greg checked out. So we'll do a 73 round, and Boone, you'll give it to Cliff, and Cliff, you'll give it to Charlie, and Charlie, you'll give it to John. So let's see here. Yeah, Charlie, water heater wise, since you've got propane, you might want to consider an on-demand propane water heater. You know, they're a little more pricey than a regular electric conventional, but they're nice and only use power when you're using water. So and they don't require a massive supply line and umpteen breakers. Okay, let's head back around. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Yeah, N4LQ. Yeah, I agree on that water heater. That electric, I thought, Charlie, you said it went under the sink, but that sounds more like a whole house one to me. And I know they take at least 100 amps to power those things. But still, I guess since you're not keeping an entire tank of water warm all the time, it still saves money. But electric water heaters, they can be the main drain on the pocketbook, and they're expensive to run, that's for sure. Anyway, Greg, that toroid you're talking about is powdered iron. It's not ferrite. And they pretty well quit using those things. They switched over to powdered iron, the FT series, like 240, 31 mix and things. And so I'm not sure what you do with a Ballon. Has to act as a choke to usually try to keep RF off the shield of the coax. And I don't know if that's what you got problems with or not. But anyway, good luck on that. I've got a T200 here. Those are, I think most all of those T series are red, bright red. So if you see a bright red, that'll be an old powdered iron toroid. With that, I think that's about all I've got here. I'll go ahead and turn it over to George. Say 73s to everybody. Have a great day. Don't forget 160 tonight if you can possibly make it. Turn it over to Buddy. Yeah, WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. Okay, I was waiting to see if you got that right. That sounds good. Yeah, I've messed around with toroids, and they're neat devices. They've been around a long time, but they've made some changes. So anyway, good luck on your project there, and with your antenna, whatever you're trying to do. I'm going to say 73, and thanks, Dave, for calling the net, and we'll look forward to Sunday. Maybe I'll have this ART-13 up and running by then. So, with that, over to George, K4GDN, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, the old friends, K4GDN. Well, I guess I'm getting out. I got one report, I think it was from Boone, said he was copying me okay, just a little bit weaker. I'm still on the IC706. And that's interesting about the hot water heater. We're going to be looking at a home in the Spartanburg area that's got a natural gas fired tankless hot water heater. I think that'd be pretty good. Our new RV has a propane tankless heater, and once you figure out how to run the thing, it seems to work pretty good. The routine we ended up with in the RV was we just turned the hot water on in the shower, turn it wide open, and regulate the temperature with the cold water valve. That seems to work. Trying to regulate the temperature with the hot water valve, it seems to confuse the tankless hot water heater. Anyway, like I say, I'm still on the 706 at the infrared dipole, and I appreciate any comments. I'll listen to the end, but I will say 73, and thanks for calling the net, Dave. So Boone's coming to you. WA4EVK and the group, K4GDN.
WK4GD in the group, WA4EVK. Man, you can really tell the band is changing. George signal just barely above the noise that time around. Say 73s to everybody. Get off here. Charlie, I've got a tankless water heater. It's natural gas, and it gets the job done and doesn't use a whole lot of gas doing it. Although it is a lot more pricey, but boy, the energy use there is down. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cliff. WB4NKL to take it. WA4EVK.
WA4EVK, it's WB4NKL. That's something on that current draw on those tankless water heaters. If everybody had one of those and decided to use hot water at the same time, probably take the power grid down. That's bad as everybody trying to charge their electric cars at the same time. I think those are pretty high current users too. 73s and enjoyed it, and we'll look for everybody there Sunday. Go ahead, Charlie. W4MEC, WB4NKL.
Yeah, WB4NKL, W4MEC. Real good. Well, my son's got one of those propane-powered tankless water heaters. He's happy with it. But he's got a 500-gallon propane tank. So I don't know how much they draw, but apparently not a whole lot. But and his is mounted on the outside of his house. And it's Renai. I think it's a Renai. So yeah, what, $1,200 or $1,600 for that thing. So maybe it made up for its cost in saving on electricity. But we'll see. We haven't decided exactly what to do yet. The hot water heater that was in there was a propane hot water heater, and it was actually looks in pretty darn good shape, even though it's 30 years old. It's got a builder's date of 96 on it when they built the house, and outside looks brand new. There was a little bit of scale in the tank, but no rust, and the burner looks fine. And but we haven't decided whether we want to put that back in or not, because the tank on this house is only 150 gallons, so it might go through that in a month. I don't know. But anyway, so that's still in state of flux, I guess, what to do. So anyway, good to talk to everybody this morning, and we'll look for you on Sunday afternoon. I think I'm still in command on that day, so we'll see what happens then. Y'all have a good rest of the week here, and take it easy. So 73 and John, W4RCW is on the roster, but his phone number is not. His email is there. You can email him. I don't have his phone number handy right now, but W4RCW@bellsouth.net was what was on the roster. So he usually answers his email. So anyway, 73 all KF4DR in the group W4MEC.
Should have got to me, KZ4B.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Okay, fine business, Dave. Charlie, appreciate the feedback. And speaking of tankless water heaters, I lived in a house that was built in the early 30s, and it was a big house, and it only had a 60 amp service. And today, the average house, including my own, which used to have a 400 amp service, now has a 200 amp service. So it sounds like a tankless water heater that's electric eats up just about all the capacity of the service entrance panel. So muy impresivo, to say the least. Looks like gas is the way to go, especially, if you can power it with natural gas and don't even have to worry about propane. So thanks for calling the net, Dave. Conditions were pretty good today, and hope everybody has a great week and can stay warm. So back to you, WA4LLR in the group, KZ4, be clear but listening.
All right, John, fine business. Well, thank you, fellas, for checking in this morning. Everybody had a good signal coming up this way. I hope everybody has a great day, and enjoy the warmer weather as it comes upon us for the next several days. So, 7-3, God bless, and have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday. This is WA4LLR, Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, closing this session of the Old Friends Net. Bye-bye.